Premier Guitars 2023 NAMM coverage is presented by StewMac. Shop tools, parts, and supplies to build or repair your favorite guitar by visiting StewMac.com or click the link in the description below.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Shadrick with Premier Guitar, and we're at the Anaheim NAMM show. I'm in the Santa Cruz booth with Iowa's own Catfish Keith and California's own Richard Hoover. How you doing, Richard?
I'm happy to be here, boss.
Oh, I bet.
First time to see old friends in 3 years.
Oh, man.
Welcome back.
And you were so excited to come back. It looks like you broke your arm here in the excitement.
I was so excited to get here. I used all hands and arms, and I wore one out.
That's right. All right, we're going to talk about a couple guitars you brought to the show, but the first one is this one that Catfish is holding. So tell us, the Catfish Special, it's called. Tell us about this one.
Well, this is a really good example of what we do. We don't make a line of guitars to go in a store for people to pick it as if it's the best one. We build guitars for people to fit them and their style of playing, their aesthetics. And this is a difficult one. You see, Catfish Keith's playing style it's blues, but those small guitars, people today think of them in terms of light fingerstyle, picking delicate stuff, and not very loud. And in the day, when blues artists used that kind of guitar, they were made very differently than big factories would make today. So these woods are proportionally sized to that style of guitar. It's voiced for the correct EQ and the presence that Catfish needs to really get all the nuance of what he's playing. His playing style is really complex. So he doesn't just need volume, he needs that nuance, his audience to hear that.
All right, Catfish, so we just heard from the guitar maker. Now from the player side of things, tell me about what certain things on this guitar did you look for in order to make it a true Catfish Special?
Well, I mean, we were first inspired by Don Edwards' guitar because it was an all mahogany guitar. This was back in 2015 or so, and we kept being beguiled by the idea of the all mahogany guitar. And then we were thinking 12 or 13 fret, but 12 fret just feels like home. And these little guitars are just, they bark and they speak for me nicely. And just look at this wood that it's a figured mahogany that there's none other quite like it. And so, and the burst they use, so aesthetically, it's just a gorgeous thing. And it's got, Jimmy Wingert made the little catfish guy up here, and that's me. And so it's just, and the bubbles bubbling over. So aesthetically, it's beautiful, but it really produces the sound that I've always been going for with my fingerstyle, bare-fingered, string-twanging style that I built. Yeah, so, and it's got a really deep quality too. People don't think a little guitar can have a huge voice, but it really does. Yeah. So.
All right. So tell us a little bit about the pricing and availability on the Catfish Special here, Richard.
It's $11.5 grand, something like that, and the woods that are in this are unobtainable. We don't use new wood. Part of the great sound of old guitars is, as people know, the wood opens up and gets more resonant. But that happens with age. It could happen in the guitar, it could happen in the bottom of a river, or it could happen on a boat builder's shelf. And using that kind of material gives us that advantage of sounding like an old guitar when it's new. And you just don't go out and buy that. You really find it. This guitar is also not a product of an assembly line. It's voiced and tuned to bring the absolute most out of it. So this is built like an orchestral violin, where somebody would pay, $35,000 for a beginner. That's what we do in guitars, and you'll never outgrow it.
Yeah, all right. We got a couple other guitars to look at. Catfish, why don't you grab another one there?
Because I love little guitars.
That's right.
I'm going to pull out this. This is the Firefly. It's got a beautiful cedar top and Brazilian rosewood back and sides.
So tell us about this one, Richard.
Sure. This today looks like a little guitar or almost a toy, but this was a full-size guitar back when people were playing classical repertoires, and the quality of sound of a guitar like this was just as important as a violin. So these guitars had to be really responsive, really loud, but also have really good quality of sound. So again, we use old wood to get the sonority that comes from old guitars. In this case, this top is redwood from Fort Ross in Northern California. This was built in the early 1800s. The wood's probably from the late 1700s. Not like that very material. So this is reclaimed from the chapel of that, and it's if angels made guitars at their birthday parties, that's what they use. So it's also combined with like unattainable Brazilian rosewood. And this is, again, it's not a modern cut Brazilian that's grown fast. It's the revered stuff from 500 years ago in the Spanish tradition. And this is reclaimed from trees that would have been cut hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. Well, let's hear a little bit, Catfish.
All right, let's see.
Such a different sound from that last one.
It's a different voice, and you see two different things here. Some myth busting. The woods don't contribute to variance in bass and treble or qualities of sound. They contribute to the scale of clarity. So woods go from warm, dark, rounded to clear, bright, and articulate. And that's, as customer builders, we're picking a wood that will go for the style of playing that the artist is trying to send to his audience. This is a different sound than Catfish's style. That's why we chose the mahogany for his. And this redwood, you might find somebody do a more contemporary fingerstyle, even more separation between the notes, and more of a little more clarity rather than the real earthy tone that we look for with his.
All right, we got one more sitting back there.
This is original design of ours. There's been other guitars built like this, but this is an archtop guitar with sustain and warmth. The archtops were built to be percussive, to cut through the big band, and every chord was a different note. It didn't want sustain. And that came from the arch top, like a violin. Yeah. So what this is a conventional flat top, and the arch back gives it a projection that unheard of. So if Catfish was playing this guitar, or if you were sitting playing this guitar, you might go, "This doesn't sound very loud," but Catfish would be chasing his hat down the street from sitting in front of it. So it's really designed to project and be really, really percussive, but to have warmth and sustain. So the back is carved in the manner of like a cello. What it shows is, if you look at old arch tops, including electrics, the binding is really thick as it goes through that cutaway because the back is curved in an arch and then the cutaway is taken out. Yep. And it's thicker in there. But this bespeaks of tuning and voicing this so it has real function, not just a look to it. So this again, if this quality of instrument was being done for like a viola or a cello, it has the work in it that would have like a student level would be 40 grand, and this is this should be a whole lot more, but we do have a reasonable price this week.
We're gonna have you play us out here in just a second, Catfish, but thank you, Richard, so much for hanging and schooling us on everything acoustic guitar. All right, I'm Jason Shadrick with Premier Guitar. Let's have Catfish play us out.